Welcome back to another video. So today we have a special package that came from ECU Masters. It is the basic dash display that they offer. It's a lot cheaper than their other dashes and it will get the job done for what I'm looking for. So I'm rocking the ECU Masters EMU Black. So I'm going to be pairing it and configuring it to work with that. The first step in this video that I'm going to be going through is how I'm going to set this up in the car and going to make a metal bracket for this to sit in and to be secure while I am drifting. So let's get started with that. I want the dash to sit right here while I'm drifting. I feel like this is the best spot. You know, don't have to move my eyes over here or anywhere. It's there, and then I can have my cords ran back behind the factory location or down and to my ECU, which is sitting right over here. So I feel like this is the best spot for it, and I'm going to go ahead and grab some cardboard and mock out a layout. I went ahead and grabbed some cardboard, cut it up to about the size that I'm looking for here. On the back of the basic dash, they have 2 screws for you to work with, and that's it. So you kind of have to make those work in order to secure this, unless you're going to be clamping from like the side or something, because it is pretty thick. But I'm going to go with the screw route and make a plate. So this is the basic outline that I came up with. The ECU, or not the ECU, but the dash would sit right here, and the cardboard, which would be metal, will hold that in place. I have the holes right there lined up with the holes on the back of the dash, and then drill a hole right here, securing it to the actual dash of the car. So I'm going to make this with metal, and then I'll probably cut a better outline around to hide the metal behind there so I can still see my fuel. And yeah, I think it'll look pretty clean. I'm not sure if this is the best route, but this is what I'm going to go with, and if I want to improve it later, I can. Alright, I have my grinder here with the cutting wheel on it, and I marked on the sheet metal the square to cut out and modify. So I'm going to start cutting that, and then we'll bend it and start cutting off any excess material to make it fit in there all nice and snug. So we started off with the cardboard layout here, and we moved to the metal. If you ask me, it's pretty close. Nice fit. Oops, a little hot. So I'm just gonna mock this up and then figure out the size of the holes that we're gonna put there. And then once I have it all sat nice and everything, then we'll start cutting away on the sides and kind of making it look nice so you don't really see the metal. Alright guys, so I finished bending it. I cut a little more off the sides there to fit the exact dimensions of the display unit. So on the left and the right you can't see any metal. I drilled holes. They are 3.5 inches apart on top. So I just measured, made them a little bit bigger. I kind of messed up right here, so I kind of made it a bigger hole. This one was perfect. So that's good for the mounting of the actual display unit. And then I cut a square right here, and that is for the connector at the bottom. So I plan to run the wires from the back like that, all nice and pretty. And then I'm leaving the sides right now, and I will drill through the dash where they're gonna go. It's gonna be kind of hard to see exactly where the hole should be on here, but I might make a little slot and then a washer and kind of just tighten it so I can move it back and forth if I need to. But for now, I got the template. Everything fits really nicely. You can see when I put it in right here, that's what it's gonna look like. So looks pretty sick. Of course, I'm going to clean up the corners, clean up what I don't need on this side, paint it, and make it blend in a little bit better. But super stoked with how it looks, and now it's just gonna be wiring and configuration. Alright, so for the wiring here, my plan is to have the connector right here. I ran all the cables underneath this cluster. There's 2 screws right up here, and then you can kind of just wiggle it out. I used a suction cup and just pulled it out. It's a little tight fit for right here, but it wasn't too bad. Once you pushed it in, it kind of all just slid into place. So there's plenty of room to adjust and whatnot. For my power, I am running a yellow cable for now. It's going to be red eventually, but this is going to the power block underneath the hood, coming through, and just right here. Obviously, when you do this, you want to disconnect the battery just to be safe. And then for ground, I'm using a factory ground location right there, and going to be running the black cable. So I'm going to run those underneath here, all nice and clean, and I'm going to connect it to the harness power and ground. So like I said, these are just running back from the cluster here, going underneath, and all the wires are coming down right here. The serial cable, I'm not too sure on how much I need to use that. I think for configuration changes on the dash, I need to use that, but I think there is a default display. We'll see what happens when we plug it in, but this wire is for my can high and can low, since I'm running the EMU black. So if you ever order this, you just want to let them know what you're using it for in the comment section, or maybe give them a call after you place your order. Then they'll send you the proper pins on there, because on the EMU black, it uses can high and can low compared to the other ECUs that they offer. All right, so I'm just gonna solder the power and ground and then see what happens. I finished soldering here. I connected the positive to positive, and where's the negative's kind of hiding back here, but negative. And then I connected the CAN bus connector from my wiring specialty harness to the extra connector that they also gave me. And then I soldered that to, like I said, the harness for the digital display. I plugged it in, and so let's see what happens when I plug it into power. I successfully connected the power and ground, soldered them. I tucked all the wires in back there and kind of zip tied them together, cleaned up all the wires on the side, and just everything's nice and clean again. So I plugged in the battery in the back, and let's see what happens. All right, so we have power. Everything looks like it's good. It's not like twitching on and off. So we have a solid power connection. We have the coolant temperature, air fuel ratio, and I'm not too sure what the other values are yet, but we're gonna hop into the software here in a second to grab a look. So I had to pick up a serial to USB adapter in order to connect from the serial to the computer. So I'm just going to connect this, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like on the computer side. For the software, you want to go to their website and go to the basic dash part of the store, and on the bottom there's like a download here kind of section. You click there and you go to their Google Drive and you go ahead and download all their files. Once you do that, there's a couple of files called like README. Go ahead and read the instructions on how to install everything. Every computer is different, so you might need to install Java, or you might not need to, depends on what your computer has already. So once you connect the serial port to your computer and the power is on, you're gonna want to go ahead and launch the software. So I went ahead and launched that, and this is kind of what it looks like. So everything is on the right, what you can do. So you have your air fuel ratio, boost, coolant, all that stuff, and you have it over here on the left. So I kind of set it up for the way I want to, but if you ever want to change something, we could do like maybe throttle position. You'll go ahead and click the square, and then you'll go ahead, or you'll click throttle position on the top right, then you'll go ahead and click there, and then it goes there, and that's where it will be on the dash itself. So I'm just gonna move that back, and then once you're done, you can just go ahead and hit save. It's very important that you hit save, because if you don't hit it, then it will not save to the dash. So go ahead and hit save, and then it'll say done down there. In order to change your RPM lights, you're gonna right click on the left light, and then it's gonna say enter RPM for first LED. I'm just gonna do 1500. So 1500, and hit enter, and then you're gonna right click on the last LED, and then it'll say enter RPM for last LED. I'm gonna do 6,500 and hit enter. And then again, you wanna hit save, and then it'll say done. So you can mess with this all you want. You can change the Fahrenheit Celsius on your coolant temperature. You can do all that fancy stuff, but I kind of set it up the way I want to, and that is kind of just what it looks like. So I'm super stoked to have this finally installed. I cannot wait to test it. It's a lot better than having my computer to tell my coolant temperature, so this is a big help for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope it helped you guys, and catch you in the next one.